Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Mandalorian Season 2 review. Damn it, I had a great name. I had a great name earlier today. I'm going to go with that. Oh, I'm the seismic Travis Snell.
Wow.
I'm your friendly neighborhood caster, Kirklin.
I am the Juggernaut Taylor Field.
All right. As
Don't give me
always, ladies
all
and
right.
gentlemen.
After your name, don't give me all right. Jeez.
Mine's badass, you know. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we've stated, we are reviewing every single episode of Mandalorian season 2. This is the penultimate episode. Next week is the finale, so you can go back and listen to everything that we've done season 1. We've done season 1 commentary tracks. You know, we did the job. Lots of good fun there. We've reviewed the entire season. And then you can go check out, probably if you're listening to this, you love Star Wars, you're at the Star Wars hype, go check out yesterday's cast. We did a 3-hour cast breaking down everything from the Disney's Investors Day, the Star Wars news, the Marvel news, the Pixar news, everything like that. So thank you to everyone that's already listened. It's been a very big episode for us, so I really appreciate that. But it was a really good one. It was just that was the classic GV of like we're having lots of fun and we're breaking down news, and it was a good time. So go listen to that. Taylor Field, where can they find us on the interwebs?
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find us with your internet connection in the search bar. Check us out on our home base at geekverse.ca. You can find all of our links there to all our different stuff, but those links, especially if you want to find us on our social media, Geekverse Cast on Twitter and Geekverse on Facebook. Geekverse on Facebook, right now, we are in the semifinals of our fan-based video game poll. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time will be the final round, and it's looking like it's going to be Darth Malik versus Spider-Man, which is wild. We're going to have Star Wars against Marvel, two major fan bases pivoted against each other. So I've already seen people
Pivoted?
Pivoted, yeah.
It's pitted. It's not pivoted against each other.
Oh, they'll be
Pivoting is
pivoting.
like
It's
pivoting
pretty
is
sure
like
it's
moving
isn't
to
it?
the side and whatnot.
That's it. They're dancing around. Even though it's Assassin's Creed versus Spidey right now, no one's talking about that. The comments I've looked, it's all about people saying, I'm voting Malik next round. Like, Malik would kick Spidey's ass. Like, everyone's talking about the matchup already. So it's popping off. People are hyped. I can't wait.
And to be clear, because you said tomorrow, that will be December 12th. And usually the finals, you kind of let those go a couple days, right? You don't call it the first day.
Yeah, I usually let it go for like 48 hours. I'll probably, because if it drops tomorrow on the Saturday, then maybe I'll call it on like the Monday or something. We'll see how it goes.
I'm pulling for Malik because I don't want Spidey in the Hall of Fame again. He already doesn't deserve to be there, but I'm calling for Malik. So yes, find that all. Everything that Taylor just shouted out is down below. You can find us everywhere. But most importantly, head over to our Patreon. If you like what we do, if you like anything we've done before in the past or hopefully in the future, Wonder Woman's coming up. That's going to be tons of fun. Go to Patreon. Support us there. You get a whole bunch of tiers. You get early episodes. You get ad-free episodes. You get exclusive episodes next month. It kind of already started this month, but we're just, 2021. You're getting 3 episodes exclusive a month. So that's going to be really good. Next week, if you're a $5, the Phase 2 Patreon, we're doing our After 9 monthly episode. This one we're doing in the morning. We're going to do a Christmas themed. I think what I'm going to do is send out to our patrons. I think we're going to do a top 10 Christmas movies. I think that would be fun to talk about what we're doing. So, and it's just a wild show. You can go back and listen to them. We talked about U.S. election porn last time, and there's always some weird stuff going on. But you can listen to some of the show if you're a regular listener, but if you want to listen to the whole show, you got to subscribe to Patreon. And if you want to join, you get to Zoom in, Skype in, you call, and then boom, we're there. So tons of good stuff popping off. Check out the feeds, review us on iTunes. We're almost at 200 reviews. We're 4 away. Now. Give us those 5 stars because we get that average up to 4 for something special. But I think that is everything popping off. Check out our podcast network, 7 days a week. 10 shows, tons of stuff there, but let's get into it. Mandalorian, there's nothing going on. There's some Mandalorian chapter 15. Taylor, because usually there's always these big hype things going on, and I kind of leave you last. So I feel this week we could maybe all agree that this is probably I'd say like the least hype we've all been. So that's why I'm going to start with you to maybe start us on in the up tier, and we'll start with non-spoilers. Then we'll go to an ad break, and then we'll get into spoilers. So just in case anyone's not seen it, but really this is just our base overall thoughts. I'm sure Taylor will spoil a few things.
Oh, you know me. This episode, again, I felt like it was going to be filler. I just leading up to that finale and that climactic ending or whatever we're gonna get, I felt like it'd be filler. And sure enough, like it definitely was, but it wasn't like it was bad by any means. I felt like it was a fun adventure, and for me personally, it was nice to just kind of cool the jets a little bit. I'm always down for more like crazy Star Wars like canon stuff and characters reprising roles and all that jazz, but we've had like 2 crazy back-to-back episodes with Ahsoka and then Boba Fett and all these other things happening, and it was just nice to kind of just sit back, relax, and enjoy a filler episode with action adventure and just not necessarily like story progression and development, but more so character development. And I feel like we definitely got a fair amount, not just from Mando in this episode, but one other character that popped in this episode as well, which I liked. I like this one character more in this episode than they were portrayed in their other episode, which I think is good. There are a few things that I really enjoyed. There's one scene particularly that had me on the edge of my seat because I was thinking, oh, are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? And I was thinking, oh my God, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. And then sure enough, it happens. And I was like, oh, this is great. I'm so pumped. And I know you know what I'm talking about, Travis. Yeah, you know. And then there's
That's
another.
why I watched the video version. You got a hint, and you get to see my Star Wars pajamas right now. So that's why you go to YouTube.
He's looking fly right now.
For a white guy.
No, I was just saying you're looking fly.
For a bald white guy.
Yeah.
There was one.
I can't believe that became a hit song. That fucking song became a hit song. Like there's the chorus is "Give it to me, baby." That's like you know. What are you eating there, Kirk?
Ferrero Rocher.
Sneakily putting in your mouth.
It's a Ferrero Rocher. Oh, okay.
It's a cucumber. I'm eating healthy.
That was very specific, Taylor. It's a chocolate. It's Ferrero Rocher.
Coconut flavor.
Lego movie.
Taylor, you were saying there was one thing?
Yeah, there's one thing that they dropped in this episode, and it totally blew my mind that they would do that. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, Travis. But when we get into spoilers, I'll confirm. Because it ties into something very significant in the storyline from one of the video games. But I'll get into that when we get to it.
This game that came out in the 90s, yeah, this little Easter egg of this frog, man, it was huge. Yeah, I'll go just because I'm talking. This episode, to me, it's tough because I've always said this, other than the Tatooine episode, I don't think any episodes are bad in Mandalorian. There's episodes I think are lack or lesser than, or there's filler. I don't want to say this is a bad episode, but like as a score, it's tough for me when we get to the end. Like it's a minor spoiler, but I think I'd maybe fail this episode, not because it's bad. I just feel it was unnecessary. I feel like all the things we learned, we could have either learned last week, you could have shoved it into 5 minutes and done that, or 5 minutes at the beginning of the next episode. It just really felt like, hey, we have to do 8. Well, let's do this one. And Taylor's right, they bring back a character. But again, like, I liked that character enough in this episode, but not enough to be like, it really redeemed the episode for me. I think the writing in this episode was extremely poor. I think it was like very similar to some of the bad writing in season 1, which season 2 so far has not had. And if you go back to what I've kind of thought about this when I first reviewed the kickoff of the season, I was like, oh, we're getting filler. Now when I look back on it, every episode I thought would have been filler kind of had that feeling. Stuff spawned out of that episode, so it didn't end up being filler, especially so I'm excited to watch the season again. But this one, to me, there's not too much, but particularly there's one thing they do with Mandalorian that I thought was very over the top and very just... Actually, there's a few things, but I just thought it was very cheesy how we got to a certain point for another big thing, and it was just like... It was kind of eye-rolly, and the action was good, sure, but this is just, to me, even like Tatooine is like... I'm going to remember that episode because our memes and how bad it is. This to me is just like a super forgettable episode. Like I wasn't falling asleep. We were trying to stay up. Kirklin fell asleep, but I was staying up. It wasn't like this thing where I was dozing off for everything. Yeah, I wasn't dozing off. I was drinking my nog. I had just seen the Disney's Investor Day. I was hyped, and I was just like, it's almost like it didn't kill my hype, but it just brought it down of like, oh, I wish tonight was the finale, because that hype of the Investors Day and then this is like, okay, it was a fine episode, but maybe the most forgettable Mandalorian episode of all time for me personally. Kirkland, where are you on this?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go that extreme. It's definitely a step down from the other episodes that we've gotten so far in the season that have been just so like plot filled. Just like every corner we go around is just another huge like plot development or something that happens with the character. There was some big moments in this episode for sure, but nothing that I think we'll be talking about, like looking back on the season as our favorite episodes. For like by no means, but that being said, I really liked the planet that they took us to in this one. I really liked just the different. Yeah, I don't want to spoil too much, I guess, but just I liked a lot that was in this episode. There was a lot of good character moments that I did like. I do agree there was a lot of eye-rolly situations that kind of, I was like, oh, this is kind of corny or cheesy. Like with how like well the writing has been, or like through the earlier episodes, it definitely was noticeable for me at least. Sounds like you as well. So overall, though, I did really like this episode. I'm still going to say, though, that it is lesser from what we have been getting, but still, it has me pretty excited for next week's episode. But unfortunately, I did fall asleep the first time I watched it. I don't know. I guess I can't stay up late anymore.
No, he's not a young chap. So, so we're about to get into spoilers. So I'm going to throw to it. This helps support the network, helps grows it. You can turn it down if it's going to be a bit too loud, but it's just a fair warning for you. So I'm going to count down, and then we're going to get into spoilers. 3, 2, 1. We're back. We're about to talk about Mandalorian spoilers. So if you've not seen the episode for chapter 15, now's the time to get out of here and come back when you have. So I wanted to start with Mandalorian, my favorite. You know, we get to see Pedro Pascal in this episode. Great. Mm-hmm. I hated how we got there. Because the thing is, like, the only time in this season so far they've talked about the helmet really is about with Bo-Katan, right? And that made sense because it's like, okay, these are other Mandalorians taking off their helmet. But that was just talking about like your culture versus my culture. The whole episode to the lead up till he takes the head off, like Bill Burr's like, you know, you don't have to wear it. You could take, you got to breathe sometimes. Like every 5 minutes, he's like, you know, life's pretty good without a helmet. It's just like, so clearly we're gonna take his helmet off in this episode, and it just was like, it felt like a kid's cartoon. It really did when I watched some of the older ones of like Batman and Spider-Man, when the lesser episodes, and it's like, okay, clearly they're trying to get this point across for people that are like 5 or 6, and it was hitting you almost over the head, like he's gonna take his helmet off this episode, and I was like, because their writing has been so good, I was like, oh, maybe it won't happen, and they're setting us up for next week. But no, they did that, and I just hated that. They literally it felt very much like last season, like I said, some of those weaker episodes, if they were just like, it's coming, and here it is. And I thought it was just done in a lackluster way. And I just like, last season when he took his helmet off, it was a good scene. He was about to die, very emotional. He just took his helmet off to like look around, like if his helmet comes off, like don't just do it. I felt like
he
this
didn't
was just
take
like
it off to look around. Like, you know why he took it off, right?
No, I mean like. Yeah, I know why he took it off, so he wouldn't be caught. I mean, though, when he has the helmet off, they don't give him like any good acting scenes. When he's just sitting there, like even when there's this like emotional conversation, so many times Pedro's not on the scene, and then he's just like scanning side to side. Like I think, in my opinion,
freaked out because he's never seen anyone with his helmet off before.
But then that should be the whole scene should be about the pressure of his helmet's off. He's worried. It's not. It's about this fucking Bill Burr and Joe Chill and all this stuff, which is fine. But that was some like really cheesy light writing of like, I'm gonna poke I love burning people, and it's like, oh god, like it's just like I hate like there was so much like, wow, why are we doing this? But I just feel like if his helmet comes off, unless it's hey, his helmet's off from now on, that's fine. Not every scene has to be great. But I feel like when his helmet should come off, it should be in key character emotional moments. This was just we got to take it off quickly. Like, I think this would have had more impact if we had never seen his face. But because we saw his face already last season, to me, anytime we were going to see it, I thought would be a bigger moment. And this, to me, is just a very forgettable, like, oh, this is the time we see it again. It's just to avoid some troops. I don't know. It didn't work for me. Kirklin, because you were talking about, I'm not sure, writing as far as it not being... Yeah. Okay, Taylor wants to go. I don't know.
No, I just have a counter. I have a counter for you. So you said that, you know, Bill Burr's just the whole time just saying, like, oh, take your helmet off, take your helmet off. I feel like, again, that fits with his character because that's all he was doing in the original premiere episode of that character was just, like, egging Mando on.
He had a couple...
On, like, take your helmet off. Let's see what's under there, you know?
He did make a couple of those comments for sure.
You're referring to like one sequence. No. I think you're just referring to one sequence when he's like, "Are you a Gungan miso?" And then like it's literally just in the ship. And then when they crash and Baby Yoda gets dropped, or sorry, Grogu, the rest of the episode it's gone. There's sure one or two lines. This was the whole time until he takes his helmet off as Bill Burr's. Like it seems like every second line is, man, I'm happy being free, and man, you should take your helmet off. And it's just like, fuck, it's so unimaginative. And that's what I mean. You just saw it coming a mile away. He's gonna take his helmet off. Where the first time it happened, we're like, is it gonna happen? Is it not? But they just like laid it out, and it's just like it's just strange for a season that's been so strong, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like looking back on it, especially since you pointed out all the instances of him, saying take the helmet off. It's so freeing and all these things. But like, I feel like not everyone was so analytical on it like you were, at least. Because like for me, yeah. I definitely noticed it when they first had like their couple interactions, and then I feel like the thing that threw me off was when they just switched him into like the stormtrooper outfit or something. I'm like, oh, okay, this is how we're gonna tackle this situation. But then again, when he's driving the car and everything, he does say it quite a few more times. And I definitely agree with you, Travis. Though I think that like him removing the helmet and just being this, like, he almost looked like a side character or something, like just some mechanic in the back that, like, it's Pedro Pascal, man, like his big moment, his face reveal and everything. And like looking back on it, I think it does take away from like the significance of him and his helmet. And I don't know, like it was interesting because also going off Bill Burr's comments when he was saying like, is it really, or sorry, is the rule you can't take the helmet off, or is the rule that you can't show your face? And I thought that would have like a, I don't know, pretty big impact going forward. So I am curious how they handle, like the whole face reveal, like going forward, because who knows, maybe this is just going to be one of like the really poor moments of them showing his face. Maybe the next time that we see his face, it will be really impactful, and it really will, I don't know, just develop this character even more. So I don't know. I mean, I'm excited to see it going forward, but I definitely feel like this reveal was definitely lackluster in comparison to the important one of last season when he was like almost dying, and like that was the one moment to save his life. So,
Taylor, anything more to add on that?
Yeah, in my opinion, I'm totally opposite, because I feel like the whole purpose of him taking his helmet off was, again, just he was put between this rock and a hard place where everyone else couldn't go with Bill Burr to do this mission. He realized, okay, it has to be me. And then it kept getting worse and worse in this scenario. And then finally it was like, it's facial recognition for this damn terminal. And he's trying his best and it's counting down. And that's when the pressure's on, because it's like, okay, is he actually going to just whip that helmet off? What's he going to do? And sure enough, he does it. And I think that's, for me, the most significant, because we see how much he cares about Grogu, but I think the fact that he's willing just to do that inside an Imperial mess hall with all of these soldiers and just do it to save him, I think that speaks volumes about how he's changing, and especially because we've had him interact with Bo-Katan and they take off their helmets. We've had him now spend a lot of time around Boba Fett, who's constantly taking his helmet off, so he's definitely becoming more lenient on that. And again, Bill Burr was definitely a tip of the iceberg for him in his decision in this. Like, again, I didn't think he was going to take his helmet off in this episode, because the whole time Bill Burr is doing his talking to Amando's just not even flinching or moving his head whatsoever. He's just looking straight, doing his classic thing. And it's like, well, he's just ignoring him as per usual. And it wasn't until he was literally at that terminal and they're like, yeah, it needs to be facial scanned and all that. That's when I thought, okay, he's definitely going to pull his helmet off and go for it. As for post that scene, when he's dealing with the officers, yeah, he definitely does look like a side character, and they were really trying to flesh out Bill Burr's character and his story a lot more. I was more drawn into Bill Burr at that time when they were kind of like detailing his story and what was going on, and especially when he dropped that reference to Battlefront 2, I really piqued my interest, and I really liked how that turning point went for his story, and yeah, I really like that.
So two things. When you brought up the whole that moment of, oh, is he going to take his helmet off? That was my problem with the episode, is they laid it on so thick that I didn't have any question when it came that facial recognition he was going to take it off. I would like them not to mention it at all. Like this episode not have Bill Burr messing him. So when that happens, it's like, oh shit, are we going to see his face again? Is he going to take it off? But it's like the whole episode, it's been about the helmet. So it's like, okay, he's clearly going to take that off. And then two, when you talk about, it's this emotional thing of, I guess I got 3 points, but it's this emotional thing with Grogu. I feel like we already know that. I feel like him going out of his way so many times. We know he's connected to the child. So this isn't like the first moment where it shows, oh, he's past this. And 3 when you're like, oh, it kind of connects with Bill Burr pushing him. He's the instigator of this. No, he's not. If Bill Burr wasn't on this mission, I still feel like he'd take his helmet off. Like if he had to in that moment. So it's not like Bill Burr got to and he finally was like, you know what, maybe he is right. Maybe I should take this off. It was he did not choose to take the helmet off. He was forced to take the helmet off. So the Bill Burr conversations had nothing to do with it other than just like I said, just like nudging you like, oh yeah, it's happening, which I don't know why they did it. It's a weird thing. So that's why I guess for me just none of that worked. And now I know what you're saying, probably referring to now with Battlefront 2, I guess with those two. But even their whole venture for me, I was I don't know. I liked what Kara and Finn was doing, or what's her name? Finn?
Fennec.
Or how do you? Fennec? I don't know where the fuck that came from. I don't know. I kind of liked what they were doing a bit more. But yeah, no, just none of that stuff worked for me.
Yeah, I definitely think that it would have improved the reveal if they honestly just didn't even have like Bill Burr in this episode. I'm not saying like I hate this character or anything, but like him just egging him on constantly. I do think that the reveal would have been a lot more meaningful if there wasn't even any mention of them, having to take his helmet off. Maybe once when they're trying to find a disguise, but then like when he gets the stormtrooper outfit, I'm like, at least for me in that moment, I'm like, okay, that's how they're gonna handle this situation without having to take off his helmet. And then if there was no conversation in the little Humvee that they had when it came down to the facial recognition, like you said, Travis, it would have been a lot more like in the moment, holy shit, is he actually gonna have to, take it off? But I also feel like, I don't know, like, did he really have to take his helmet off? Like, could they not have just gotten, like, blasted their way out of there like they did in the end? Or, I guess...
yeah. Well, I guess they wanted to have the upper hand, I guess, because I guess if that happens, the alarms go off, they'll look at that terminal, where this is just... Okay, yeah, they do get the jump on a couple guys, so I guess that's the idea. I wanted to shout out Chris M. in our chat. He said, I thought Bill Burr was lying to see his face, which I would have liked that, too, because that would have been fun of why, like... just to say, oh, you have to take your helmet off. But no, it was just Bill, because this was Bill Burr's like redemption episode where, oh, maybe he's not a piece of shit and he's gonna join the crew like next year. So yeah, no, he was just really wanting Mando to take. He just really wanted Mando to be himself, I guess, which was kind of strange because he's just dogged on Mando last time we were with him.
Well, I think he's a kind of character that likes going against the status quo. Not following all of these. He's kind of like a DJ, DJ from like Last Jedi. If you look at it, like live free, don't join, kind of a mindset to him.
Oh, what I thought you were saying. I'm like, how is this guy a DJ? What is your experiences with DJs?
But I think that's his kind of mindset and belief. What do you think I was referring to with Battlefront 2, Travis? Do you know?
I'm at, like, you're referring to the newest Battlefront 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing someone with Ian Verso and her story, because I've seen her picture pop up a few times on Twitter, people being like, "Oh, Rangers of the New Republic," you say, and stuff like that. So I'm guessing her.
Not her character whatsoever was referenced in it. When he drops the information like Operation Cinder, I was there. And that was the cool thing, because Operation Cinder in Battlefront 2 was right after Return of the Jedi. The Empire starts pretty much like burning their own planets, retreating in, just devastating it, so they were leaving nothing left. And it was really fucking horrible for them to be doing that. So I just thought that was so cool to just tackle into that kind of the video game story there, and then to also just kind of flesh some more light on, again, and that's when Mayfeld was kind of like preaching out like all these soldiers that had families and they were just out there trying to fight for freedom, and they just died, and you have this piece of shit Imperial officer. He's like, I made a couple of hard decisions that day. Like, this fucking...
He was
brutal.
Great.
He was good.
Like,
I definitely, like, Imperial officers, like, so many of them are, like, just a piece of shit, but they all are so unique in their own way because they're trying to politically get ahead, or they're just... like, you hate them and you hate their guts with a passion, and them as a person, they're just rotten and they're bad, and they're all so different in their own ways. And this guy, again, he was so different from the one that we got to see in episode 3 with Bo-Katan, and again, it just goes to show that difference. So you have this guy just preaching this like crazy
preaching. That's for you, not speaking, not preaching. Preaching. He's preaching at me. I think this guy just felt more genuine. That guy from episode 3, I just hated because it looked like he had like a spray tan and all this stuff, and it just didn't fit. Where this guy, like, oh yeah, this is slimy Empire I like. But
Yeah.
so this is what we talked about a few weeks ago, though, when you were talking about like, oh, I don't know if they're gonna join, like, because we were talking about Cal being in the show, like, oh, I don't know if they would like join games and canon. Just even little, like, it's a little thing, but it's still tying it to a game, and I still think Cal is very much in play. And I don't even know like this show, but just in the future in general. So again, they're kind of spreading all over to books, comic books, animated show, now video games. Like they're putting all their fingers in all the canon.
I'll believe you now after them doing like this huge event. Like definitely, I'm on board with that now.
Yeah.
Kirklin, you got any thoughts on Bill Burr or that whole Cinder thing and whatnot?
I did like the little like fleshing out of the Imperial like side, their point of view. I did like a lot of that stuff, but I don't know. I found a lot of their conversation like in the Humvee when they're going through the village and be like, these people, it doesn't matter if they're New Republic or Imperial, like they see us the same way, and like all these things. I just thought it was a little eye rolling and cheesy, and like again that ties into this helmet is so freeing, like how do you see through these things and blah blah blah, like wouldn't you be happier with it, like looking back on it, it's even cheesier than I thought it was in the moment. But I don't know, overall I think I came out of this episode liking the character more. I really thought he was just gonna stick around. He just kind of like wandered off. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But
it's like, where's he going?
Yeah, exactly. Like, is he just on this planet now? But whatever.
All these Imperials still after him. They're gonna strap him up and burn him.
Yeah. But
when you're talking about his dialogue in the car, he reminds me of like a video game side character you'd have with you.
Oh yeah.
And like even in the car when they had that moment of like the pirates attacking, that felt like a video game because Mando would fight people and he's like, "There's more coming," and like it literally was a video game again.
In Jumanji, like I think it was the newest one. It's like the NPC guy, like that was him basically.
Don't you see the land? It doesn't matter who you are. There's danger everywhere. Yeah, you're very much like that exposition machine, and just stuff like it's just like. Again, sometimes with Mando, I don't know. Like, it just feels like this should maybe be season 1 conversation, but I feel like Mando knows enough that like it's not black and white. Like, there's shades of gray. Like, it's not just like here's the good guys, here's the bad guys, but it's like Bill Burr's like really trying to get through. Like, no, it's not what you think, man. And it's like, all right, this is a guy who like turned on his whole clan so he could like protect this little baby. Which I was gonna say because I almost forgot this. I hated the way they ended this episode with Mandalorian and that little what are they called, the hologram. That just to me did not feel like Mandalorian when he's like, and you're gonna see how much this baby means to me.
Oh,
It was like, what?
You
like,
understand why he was saying that, right?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is like, did I miss something? Why is he saying that?
Everything that he said was exactly what Gideon said to him in season 1. So he was just saying it to piss him off.
Okay, no, that's completely fine. That works for me then, because I was just like, this feels so out of character for me. Like, this means so much to me, and it's just like he's a pretty quiet dude still. Like he definitely expresses some emotions, but he doesn't show that. So okay, I'll have to fact check. Oh no, I'll have to fact check you just to be sure, Taylor. But I will. Then that makes sense.
I'm pretty sure it was fine. What Gideon said. Definitely.
What? I don't trust Kirklin at all, but no. Okay, that works.
Just going back to like the scene when they're blasting their way out after they shot Joe Schill, and we're running out there, and they had like Fennec and Cara Dune like blasting the stormtroopers and stuff on the roof and stuff. That tied in with like the Humvee chase scene with like the pirates that were trying to like blow up the little ship there. It just really made me feel like it was actually like a scene out of a video game, and it like. I was like, man, like when are we getting this Mandalorian video game or something like that? Like it just seemed very, I don't know, similar to like an action shooter type video game like that, and it just seemed really fun. I really like all the CGI and effects that they had. Again, I'm just reiterating what I've been saying all season. Like it's just so impressive. Like the budget that they have on the show just blows me out of the water. And I definitely did like the little duo of Cara Dune and Fennec. It was fun seeing them in there. I found it. I just laughed so hard when Bill Burr was just like, "Give me that rifle." He just gets like the perfect shot. Just so cheesy.
Well,
but
he
again,
was a sniper, right? He was
I know. But it's hard for me to like takeaway from Bill Burr and this character, like Mayfield. So I just found it hilarious. So, but all in all, I really liked it. So.
Well, that's one thing. Rick has always been good. Like he did that episode, everything like that. But then he also did obviously the introduction episode of Bill Burr in season 1. His action's always been superb the way he's directed that. So I agree with you as far as that's why none of the action was to me bad. I enjoyed it all. It was very good. And yeah, I'm with you on the video game. If they're not making a video game of this, and it's EA, so they are idiots. But like that's the thing where it's just like it's like. I don't understand. Like, this is clear. After season 1, you should have been like, they've already made the show be like a video game. It's set up for us. And this is a time, even myself, I'd say you could do a prequel. You don't have to. It could be his adventures before this, like him meeting Grogu and everything like that. You know? Sorry, go ahead. No, yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, interacting with different types of Mandalorians. I love to see like Boba Fett's armor all cleaned up and like looking sharp. Like he was looking awesome. And when they first got to that little scrapyard planet, it totally reminded me of the first planet in it's like the Cal video game.
Fallen Order.
Yeah, Fallen Order. Like when it's like the scrapyard or whatever, the little prequel or whatever. Anyways, I'm rambling.
There is a scrapyard, Taylor, in Force Unleashed, but it's not the first mission.
Yeah, you're right. It's not the first. Yeah.
That one's a little bit more like sandy and green, kind of like Fallout 3. But sorry, just getting back to when they're on the scrapyard planet, and it was like Boba Fett that came out, and then Mando came out afterwards because Mayfield's like, oh, I thought you were someone else. I just like seeing the two different Mandalorians standing right there. I love just that armor style and seeing the differences between the two. I'm excited to see more. It's same thing with what's her name, Bo-Katan, and like her armor. I just love seeing the different styles, and I'm excited to see, the more Mando armors that come out the longer the show goes.
Again, they're the predators of Star Wars.
Yeah, they are, honestly. Especially when he goes like thermal vision and everything.
I was gonna say that I really enjoyed Boba Fett looking the way he did. I think his armor was like a little too clean. Like this armor's been like dirty and messed for
the barber shop. Like he's showing off like a nice fade.
It looked like it just got made. So that was like I was like, okay, this is a little much, but I'm like, fuck it. Like he's looking more like Boba Fett, so I'll be with it. But it was such a weird moment now of being a fan of like that. They do that joke like you said, and then he walks down, they're standing beside each other, and it's just like. From 2 weeks ago, it was like, will we see Boba Fett? When will we see him? To now, it's like, oh, he's just a character. Not in a bad way, but like, he's just a character now. He's just one of the team members, and he's just there after all these decades. It's just like still crazy. And obviously, my nickname. That was the most hype I got in this episode. This is the only thing I remember is when he dropped that seismic like bomb. Oh my god! Because that set piece, one of the things in prequels, I'm not a fan of the movies overall, but they have these great set pieces, and the chase between Django and Obi-Wan is fantastic, and the sound editing, how quiet it is, and like the way it works. I was very happy to see. I like that Boba like this like gun trigger like guy, like he's just like the backup plan. You like when everything goes to shit, he just shows up and saves the day. And
he'd be in the Expendables.
Well, exactly. People are saying that they were surprised that they didn't announce the Boba Fett show. I'll shout out Katie on Twitter, who hosts Star Wars Alliance. She says that she thinks the Rangers of the New Republic, that might be the Boba Fett show. But there's been multiple scoopers saying that like they're about to film this Boba Fett show. So we don't know if that's just another one because they haven't announced 3 of them. Taylor, when I listened to the cast back today, you were double wrong because when Kirklin was like, "Oh, High Republic and the Apocalypse, the Acolyte are 2 separate things," or he's like, "They're one thing." You're like, "No, they're 2." So when you did your 10 count
again, and I confirmed 10.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't, Taylor. I listened to the cast because you counted the Droid Story, which is a movie. You counted
on Disney Plus.
Rogue Squadron.
No, but I recounted. There's 10 Disney Plus projects. You have
no, they did not say projects. They said series. They said TV shows. They said TV shows.
I don't know.
Go watch it. You were completely wrong, and you even told Kirklin like, "No, those are 2 separate things, you bastard."
I renounced myself on that.
Yeah, after Taylor texted me, he's like, "Kirklin's an idiot. He doesn't even know what's going on. We're getting rid of him."
I believe it.
What
I
else?
believe it.
Yeah. Anything else to show? Because I'm pretty much out of notes, to be honest. Like I said, there wasn't too much that happened.
I'm loving seeing like the addition of Slave One in that ship. I'm just liking it the more we see it. Hold on, I have a question actually. In the prequels, don't they like sit like horizontally, and then when it launches off, that's when they're actually like seen properly? Or am I just totally forgetting that, or like remembering that wrong?
No, you're right. Because when in Attack of the Clones, Boba gets into the pilot's seat and he's sitting like on his back, like
Yeah.
way
So
up.
then in this one though, when they all get onto the ship, they're just like chilling, like they're in
Yeah,
the back of like a
but
cargo
remember, as the
ship.
ship was taking off, you could see the internal body rotating around as the ship was moving. You could see the
Yeah,
walls shifting.
but I don't think they were laying down like Django was.
No. They walked in normally and sat down, and then when the ship Slave One took off like this, as it goes like this, the interior rotates so it stays parallel. So you're not ever laying
Okay.
down in the cargo area. You sit down normally, and the seats rotate.
I see.
It's like being in a
I
B
see.
wing, essentially.
Okay. Yes. Thank you for explaining that, because I was like, there's some continuation errors here. But anyways, I just love the, I don't know, the mechanics of the ship and how it just rotates like that. And yeah, when that bomb came out, it's just so recognizable from like the prequels and like playing Star Wars Battlefront 2, like back in the day. Like as soon as I saw that bomb coming off, I was so excited. And then yeah, that explosion was just so beautiful. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say.
I got a few things. Yeah, seismic charges. I mean, you can't go wrong with those. I don't think any Star Wars fan hates seismic charges. I was watching comparison, like side by side videos earlier of Django and Boba both doing it at the same time. It's so good. It's awesome.
Don't come in, Madison.
Seismic. When the pirates
just timing it properly with the climax.
Oh yeah.
When you orgasm the same time as a seismic charge,
Yeah.
a Mandalorian dies.
The fight scene between Mando and the pirates, I really enjoyed that. I like seeing Mando thinking his armor would defend him out of habit, but it just like his gauntlet would smash, and then he would be getting he's like getting hurt from the attacks and the swings of the sticks. But again, him using that staff to fight was just so awesome. Him taking out these guys on top of that. The Juggernaut.
No.
Just in Pedro's voice.
And then there's one other thing.
I was just glitching out. Sorry, Taylor.
When they're looking at who can go in with Bill Burr to go into the compound, and they look at Boba. Boba's like, I'm pretty sure like they would recognize my face. Like I love that.
That was
line.
really funny.
That was so good, considering he's had like over 100 million brothers cloned of him.
Yeah.
So good. And again, like shout outs to ISB mention again. I love the Imperial Security Bureau. Always a good time to see them pop off. And yeah, I'm trying to think. I feel like this episode just had a lot of little nitty gritty Easter eggs and stuff like that. Again, like the CGI for Slave One and seeing it flying around is just awesome. When Bill Burr and Mando are on top of the roof of that building, they look out and you just see like that open, wide, scenic shot of the canyon, and Slave One just like panning in and coming in down. Like that was just so awesome. And again,
Gets you excited for Rogue Squadrons.
It does. Oh my god. Yes, it does. Holy shit.
Yeah. Don't come in, Madison.
Seismic charges, road squadrons, Pedro yelling just all on it, and he's just going to town on himself.
I really do like his armor painted. Like when he walked out and it was super clean, I wasn't expecting it, but I thought, if he's just hanging around in Slave One while Mando goes talk to Cara Dune on that planet, whatever, I can't remember the name of it, but man, obviously Boba Fett's chilling. He's like, I got some spray paint to paint this. So
he must be so pumped.
He's had it for
armor
years. He's just been waiting. He's stockpiled on all this paint, and he's never gotten to use it. Like the
I
past
can't
30
wait
years.
to get my armor back. I'm just gonna paint it.
I've wanted to cosplay as Boba Fett for a long time, but like his costume is always like super detailed. But I feel like this costume, it's so badass and unique in its own right. I love how it's got like the black like loose sash like dangling around like on his like pant areas and stuff like that. Like it's just
his groin area.
I just love how it makes this perfect bulge on Boba. It's just like
he just looks awesome.
I'll be his
He's
slave.
got this like sharp green like and yellow look on his armor with the black.
The green was
underneath.
gorgeous.
It's so good. So yeah, he's so
nice
awesome.
HD. We haven't seen we've seen Mandalorian armor, but we haven't seen a Boba Fett armor in like HD. I know, I guess there was Django's, but that was kind of different. Django, they made it very shiny. Like Django, like that's if the sun hit, it would blind you. Where this is like this is a nice matte finish. It's looking sleek.
I
Well, it's
do.
kind
Be
of
ready for that spin-off show.
What were you gonna say, Kirkland?
I was gonna say it's kind of like Bo-Katan's. Like I feel like that was kind of like a matte blue, and that was just so gorgeous. Yeah.
I do appreciate how much they're like visually showing off Slave One at this point, because like when you think of like the original trilogy, you always will think of the Millennium Falcon, and you don't obviously see a lot of Slave One, but you see it in like quite a few scenes in Empire Strikes Back. That's pretty much it. But just all the love that it's gotten in these other films now and these other medias is just it's awesome. Heavily used in Attack of the Clones, and now it's just getting its like time to shine in the Mandalorian. So for me, that's one of my that's like I like the Millennium Falcon ship, but I always just really love Slave One because it's just a design is so cool how it's like it's just lands like this and you walk up its landing pad and then it just sits in the chair on your back and then it goes like this and then the side flaps fold down and as you're flying like even in Battlefront 2 when you like look at the ship as you're flying in it just seeing the flaps like alternate like a plane. Oh yeah. Oh it's good. I'm gonna be doing a lot of that.
That's
honestly.
What?
What?
A lot of masturbating to Star Wars content?
No, flying in Slave One, you sick bastard. I'm surprised you haven't shouted out our layout for this episode on the stream.
I haven't checked YouTube actually.
Oh, it's
I
good.
don't want to kill my complete, what do we got going on?
I love that
here?
8-bit Mando though with Grogu.
Oh,
That's
isn't
so
that
cool.
Good? It's very good.
Dude, give me like a game like that.
Oh
love the
wow,
detail
he's
on it.
moving too. Good
Yeah,
job, Taylor.
I was
He's
doing a test with a GIF or a GIF, so
yeah.
we might get some snowflakes popping off here in the next
This
few
fucking
streams.
purple guy.
Oh, we
this
have
guy
to
up.
the next few weeks. We need some snow. We need some snow for sure. We definitely need snow, especially for After 9 next week, which is a Christmas themed episode. We
Oh,
need some
yeah.
snow. So,
30
Taylor,
minutes,
anything else,
Travis.
or drop a rating. Well, we're coming to the end now. We're fine now. Taylor, any
break
thoughts or
incoming.
just your rating?
My last thing as I close out with my rating is I'm just gonna shout out the score again. It just again Ludwig is doing so many different variants of that classic Mando score and that theme, and I love every single one he does. It's so good. So again, he's
Well, at the beginning of the episode, it had like a very quiet version of the Mandalorian theme, and I was really digging that. So I'm
Yeah.
excited for that drops. But it was like I don't know what instruments he was using, but it was like very subtle, very almost like it wasn't piano, but something like when you hear a piano version of a famous song. So
Mhm.
yeah, he's just again he's been like
Oh.
Patty. You're directed Rogue Squadrons. You should. She honestly, she might hit upon Zimmer because he did Wonder Woman. It's not like Hans Zimmer is a bad choice, so I'm not gonna say like, oh, there's a perfect choice. But if not Hans Zimmer, like when Tenet couldn't have Hans Zimmer, who did
Yeah.
Nolan go to? He went to Ludwig. So I feel like same thing. If Hans is a little busy, go get Ludwig. Like it's just like I want him to have a movie. Not that this is bad. Not that like I need him to grow more. And I think this is great. Mando's big, but I just feel like he's earned the right to put his stamp on because I feel like Taika's gonna get someone weird and something like a little different. So I feel like Patty and him could be a match made in heaven.
Absolutely.
Hans Zimmer. I would love to hear a Star Wars track by him.
It'd be so interesting because he has such a style that's so like. So it's because like him and Ludwig are similar, but they are very different. But Hans has such a style where it's like, would it be too much for a Star Wars movie? Like, would it not feel like Star Wars? And that's been some of my complaints on other movies, but not that it was too much. It was almost too little, or it didn't have like a style to it. I would love it. Like, I'm not saying don't do it. It was just like that would be something that'd be like my top 3 thing of looking forward into a movie. Hans Zimmer was doing a score for Star Wars because I don't think he's gonna do the classics, and I think like how would he change it up? And there's stuff like Interstellar is such a beautiful score, and I wonder if he would do it then as well, because he said one of the hardest things about Batman versus Superman was trying to create another Batman theme after The Dark Knight. He said it was super challenging. So I wonder if obviously Interstellar's not Star Wars, but would he look at that and be like I've done space before, so I don't know if I kind of like everything I would have done in a space movie I did in Interstellar, but hey, I would be down if they did it. I would love to see the challenge, to see like, okay, what is this like? In my opinion, John Williams is like, I think the best, but my favorite is still Hans Zimmer just because he's giving me these tracks. I'd love to see what he would do in Star Wars. But you know what? Maybe that'll happen when Disney coaxes Nolan over to the team, and then he's like, yeah, it's Nolan, it's Hans, and here we go. I will give this... we talked about it enough, so, I'll give it a pass. I'll give it a 2.5. But literally, like I said, I did speak highly of some things and positive, but they were just few and far in between, and I just... I will watch this episode, but this will be it's this episode. Time to pull up my phone. Time to make lunch. It didn't really stick with me other than a few moments. So a 2.5 for me. Kirklin rates the entire season at the end, which is going to happen next week, buddy. So you better get ready. And Taylor Field, what do you give this episode?
I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5.
There we go. 4 out of 5. And that's it. Next week is the finale. It's crazy. It's the finale. And then we got a few bunch next week. I should have said this at the beginning, but we're going to be dropping our Wonder Woman retro episode of when we reviewed that. That's myself, Taylor, Kyle, and Tyler Briggs. So kind of remember our thoughts of Wonder Woman, what we thought about at that time. And then Wonder Woman 2 will be coming up. We'll be reviewing that. We're not sure when. We're trying to figure it out. I think we're kind of... I think we could potentially pull off Boxing Day. Is kind of what we've been talking about, and whatnot. But within the next few days of Wonder Woman releasing, we will be putting something out. A spoilers review, of course. That's gonna be tons of fun. We'll have this review for Mandalorian finale, and then after that in March, you just got 2 more weeks, and then it's WandaVision. So the next 4 to 6 weeks, we're gonna have some fun, big content. So I hope you stick with us. I hope you like what we do, and I promise you, it'll definitely not be boring. And may the Force be with you.
Always.
I've been just jumping off that last season trend. I'm sorry, Taylor.